At the end of the last video, the little chicks got introduced to their new world, their outside environment, and we saw them tentatively come out the little door I cut out in the side of the cardboard brooder and to start to explore. So there were a few things I expected them to do and things I didn't expect them to do. And that's what this video is about. I didn't expect them to sleep outside the brooder. I mean, it's instinctive for chicks to huddle underneath the mother hen and kind of in a huddled pile-up situation. What I expected them to do was to go back to the brooder, the only safe place they've ever known, and sleep there. They didn't. They decided that the front corner of the shelter was the place to pile up and sleep. So that was a surprise. I thought they would take longer to explore the ladders and the nesting box, roosting bar, and the top roost. But instead, by the second or third day, they were buzzing up and down the ladders and apparently holding meetings in the skybox. They like to stay together very much, but still, I expected them to spread out a little bit more than they did. But that was interesting. It was, you know, their instincts were kicking in to roost high and find sheltered places to rest. A disappointment, and this is a continuing disappointment, is that the chicks have not figured out that the 5-gallon bucket with the little feeder rings in it is food. They will eat out of a tray, they'll eat off the ground, but they won't stick their heads in that little ring and get the, chicken crumbles from there. And I find that very disappointing. I even picked up one and put its head in the ring in hopes it would, peck a little bit and discover its food. Didn't work. So that's a disappointment. Another thing we had to address is that the chicks got out. 2 chicks got out when we first introduced them, and the dog was out, and she chased them all around the yard and finally caught up with one and picked it up and carried it around a while. Didn't kill it, didn't harm it. I think it was just a game to the dog. But we had to curb that behavior, and I did it by every time she put her nose to the fence, the siding of the coop, I would give her one of those, deep diaphragm, no, like guys can do. Construction guys learn to shout all the way across a job site that way. And that did it. She just sort of like hunkered down and turned and looked at me. And every time she approached the fence, I gave her another one of those, no! And that worked. So now when we let her out, we used to let her out on a leash till we got sure she wasn't gonna do that, chase the chicks. So now when I let her out, she just sort of like looks at the chicks, perks her ears, listens to them, does her business, and turns around and walks away, and usually checks to see if I'm at the door, gonna correct her if she does wrong, which she's been a good girl here for a week. So I'm almost ready to let her outside unsupervised around the chicken coop. That's one of the positives. Interesting behavior, chickens dealing with their instincts. They don't have an intellect like humans do to override instinct with, thoughts and agendas and ideas and con ourselves into thinking that things feel right when they go against the instincts. But chicks don't do that. Animals don't do that. They stay true to their instincts and very little intellectual override. So it's been interesting to watch them learn and develop. They at least figured out that the water bucket with the little watering cups in it is water. They just haven't figured out that the little cups in the food bucket is feed. Of course, the things we introduced them to in the brooder are still known as food. They are voracious about corn and a new thing, grass. Take a look.